what potentially might be World War III happened over the weekend. Around Saturday afternoon Asia Pacific time, the US and Israel strikes Iran. And pretty much ever since then, the tension has been escalating. What's happening with the market? Pretty much Bitcoin fell a bit, but it sort of like stabilizes, and it did not dump as hard as maybe some were concerned about, because typically in cases like this, where some huge geopolitical event happened over the weekend, Bitcoin was always sold first because it's open during the weekend and it's liquid. What's interesting though is that a lot of like the crypto dexes, crypto products like Hyperliquid, HIP3 and so on, these 24/7 on-chain commodity markets became an anchor price for sentiment over the weekend. We can see that the gold price rallied a bit before stabilizing. Oil also had some spikes, even though all of this was, they fairly have low volume. Still, sort of like explain what's the sentiment that people have over the weekend. Now, I think the broader question on this is that like, how is this going to affect gold, commodities, Bitcoin? I think it's going to be a lot more complicated, and we have yet to see what will happen in the next 10 days, as Trump announced this morning. Obviously, some of the second order effects we've already seen, such as gas prices surging because of some production issues, Iran threatening to close the Straits of Hormuz, which, like carry out pretty much a huge percentage of the world global oil supply chain. And all of this, we have yet to see how that will impact. I can argue, I guess, the most consensus take is that this will cause stability to the region, which will increase not just fear of more geopolitical tension, which will lead into a higher price of gold, but also potentially a higher price for commodities as supply constricts pretty much. And for Bitcoin, I think it has yet to be seen whether or not Bitcoin can truly prove itself as a truly global sovereign asset that can provide a utility much better than Bitcoin in this sort of time. Unfortunately, it hasn't really shown that yet. Although Bitcoin did not fall over the weekend, did not fall as hard as some people might have thought it would have been. It also did not act like a sovereign form of money yet. So that is a bit of a bummer. But I think gold prices continue to come up. Potentially, we might see some of that spillover effect into gold. The question simply becomes, can countries buy Bitcoin at scale, and whether or not they would do it? Because that has always been the main driving factor for gold, is that like all these countries that really want to hedge their risks against US hegemony and the geopolitical tension, they all flock to gold. Bitcoin does not have that form of buying pressure yet.